what I get. That's what I get for being a slow texter. Yeah. Apologize for being late. It's 11:01, but here I am. I just had to get back to, interesting. Interesting. Look at this haircut. Well, you don't have to, but I'm going to look at it. Because I just invested in it. Okay, so it goes a little bit that way and a little bit this way. On that side. Oh, that looks kind of good. Good. Okay, so I would say welcome back to you, but I'm saying welcome back to me because it's been days yet. It has been days that we have hung, and I have a funny story to share. Good morning, that one persona. Nice to see you. And Laura Gibbon-Vo. I had the plan. Erin, I've got a mug. I don't know why. I've got this habit, but I think habits can be fun, of raising my mug to you. I had a plan of taking a shower between when I got my hair cut and this TikTok live. But I got to share with you guys. Oh, that one persona. See, I know that is coming our way, the rainy, dreary morning. But we have the last of the warm days, as my husband wrote a song called. And man, am I freaking savoring that. I am going to embrace it like nobody's business. So I took a walk. I returned a book to the library. And then I went and was trying to water some grass seed we planted, even though tomorrow is going to be rainy here as well. And then it was just really sweet. One of our neighbors came over, this older gentleman. He's almost like 90. And he asked for my phone number because my husband is away and he only has Cliff's number. So all sorts of good stuff. I'm trying to look to see if I scroll. Here I am. So, hey, Laura Gibbon-Vo. I leave with mom and bro to go to Nantucket for a few days. How fun is that? Yay. I've only been, even though I'm in New England, I'm a Massachusetts gal, I only went to Nantucket once. But the funny thing is my parents were the same. They bought something in an auction and they went over to pick it up, I think. I went there a number of years ago and it was so much fun. I don't know if you've been at all, but it is quintessential coastal New England. You kind of can't get away from it, but I hope you have a blast. Erin, I also am having tea in my mug right now because I'm a tea drinker. I'm a tea drinker. There we go. Yes, I will be glad for the rain this gardens. Yes, actually, I am okay with that rain because I want some grass to grow in a certain patch, and I won't be able to water it when I'm away. You've never been excited for the adventure. Oh, you will have a blast. You will have a blast. It is so just like the postcards. It really is. Here's a fun thing. Coaching-wise, I will share this concept with you. I have a lot of stuff to share because I just, things have been happening. But here was a fun thing. The more seeds you plant, the more likely that what you want to grow will grow. Now, I know I sound like a gardener like that, but I'm a gardener, but I'm also, Beth, Destination Decluttering Life Coach. And I realized this when I was out in the garage moving. This is how it all started, okay? Follow this train of thought. This is how it went. I realized that I wouldn't be using one of our things anymore, one of our yard waste things, because they're not going to pick it up anymore. So I was putting it in the garage. As I did that, I noticed that we had a sizable amount of grass seed in a bag. And I thought to myself, you know what? This bag of seeds, if you think about it, this bag of potential grass, these will definitely not bloom. These will not grow. These will not root. These will not even have the opportunity if I keep them there. So think of your brain. Think of your head as a bag of grass seed. Why not? Think about if it just stays in the bag, there's no way it's going to grow and blossom and do all the good stuff. You need to get those things out of the bag, out of your head, and scatter them around and take care of them. And water them. And I thought, well, yeah, so I can increase the likelihood of there being more blades of grass in that one patch if I plant more seeds and I water them. Now, even if it gets overgrown, it's always easier to weed out what you don't want than to be too stingy. Like, what good is it going to serve me to keep grass seed in a bag in the garage? It's just going to sit there. So along those same lines, if we're working, parallel universes here, what good is it for me to keep those ideas and thoughts and those ideas for potential growth, grass or otherwise, in my head? Why not bring them out and scatter them around on the soil that you think they are going to grow on and tend to them? So that's how I was doing that. And then I watered the thing, and I'm going to do that a little bit more. And when I was doing that is when I had the opportunity for me to be outside of the house, so my neighbor could ask for my phone number in case he gets into, he falls and he can't get up. Okay? So I offer to you. I'm always offering these ways of thinking about stuff because this is how I think about things, and I think it's kind of fascinating. Think about the seeds that are just hanging out in the bag of your head. Why not scoop them out, scatter them around, water them, and encourage them to grow? Okay? So that's about as green thummy as I get. Carol will probably come in and give me some tips on that, but just thought I would share because that literally just happened. And I thought as I'm doing this, you know what? This is just like coaching. This is just like living life. You have an idea. If it just sits there in the idea bag, but if you do something, I literally did that. I texted my husband about another idea I had. The answer may still be no, but at least I know I asked. Okay? So yay, Laura Gibbon Voorhees, your brother's been to Nantucket a lot. He knows where we should go. We get to stay in a friend's of his house for free. That's always fun. That's always fun. When I went there, I was writing an article for a place that actually I asked if they would put me up in a hotel there. I feel like we may have only been there one night, but it was pricey. Even the cheapest hotel on that, the cheapest motel on that island of Nantucket is wicked expensive, at least as far as I'm concerned. But having somebody else so you don't have to pay it, there we get that. Marietta, my husband hates when I get ideas. That's because he knows you're going to be mixing stuff up. I bet he likes it. Yeah, I bet your ideas are, here, hon, you know what I thought we should do? And he's like, oh boy, what does she got in for me? But this is a good thing, Marietta, I will share with you. All the ideas you have, you don't need to share them with your husband. You can write them down, and only the ones that would directly relate to him. So he may have no idea how many ideas you have, so you won't overwhelm him with them, but only pick out the ones that directly relate to him. I think it's great you have ideas. Ideas mean you're thinking. Okay? I have an idea of how to change the way my home looks and feels and functions because I have an idea. I'm thinking I have too much stuff in my house. I'm thinking that I don't like where the stuff I have is. And I'm thinking I would like to live in a house that looks and feels differently than this. And it doesn't have to be a different house. You can create the home you want in the house you have. Yeah, see, my ideas usually make work for him. Me too, because we're excellent at delegating, aren't we? Aren't we? Saying, hon, I get this great idea. Here's a funny thing. My husband will be gone 7 weeks on tour. So a lot of things that I would delegate, aka pawn off on him, I will either have to do myself or pawn off on somebody else. Oh well, this is how we're working. There are some people out there. Okay, this is my thing, Marietta, and everybody. There are people out there who don't want to think, they just want to be told what to do. So if that's the case, let's make sure that what we're telling people to do are things that are going to help, not hurt. That are things that are going to make things better as opposed to make things worse. Sometimes literally, like I'm at that point, frankly, with some of my travel. I will happily outsource some of the travel decisions, of which there can be many, to other people so I don't have to be thinking about it all the time. And I maybe just want to go and be delighted. So just a thought from a thinker, okay? A forward thinker, as it were. Anywho, so today is Tuesday. I'm thrown off because today feels like a Monday to me because I was traveling yesterday. But here I am, as I often say, I will rock you like a hurricane. But I'm here for the next, what is it? Oh, it's 11:11. If anybody likes to see the 4 ones in a row on their digital clock. How can I help you today? I'm trying to think of like if I was in retail like I used to be, and I don't want to ask a yes or no question. How can I help you find what you're looking for today? How can I help you today? How can I make it easier for you? And not even how. Maybe you don't know how. How about this as opposed to a question like that? I will say where. Instead of how, I'll say where. Where are you stuck today with decluttering? Where, location, where, what room are you experiencing stuckness? That if you were in a car, again, I talk in the road trip metaphor, what room are you stuck in that you're spinning your wheels? Again, the car metaphor, but all you're doing is digging yourself deeper. You're not making any traction and moving forward towards your destination decluttered. Marietta, bedroom, love it. Okay. User 2816 says, my basement. Now, Mark and Jennifer Lucero, all of them. Yes, you and everybody else, hon. But here's the one wonderful thing, okay? So a couple of reminders, and even for myself too. I'm going to go through these first 2 steps of decluttering with you because I kind of might have skipped over them myself. So the reason I bring this up is because the word all, I noticed this when I was coaching some clients this morning, is a really interesting one. All is also a word that can indicate overwhelm. Okay, so I want to say this. Let's start with the first 3 tips for decluttering. First 2 may sound very unusual for those of you who have not hung out with me, but I'll give them to you anyway. Do a scan of your body, as I like to say, as everybody says, from the crown on down. I would buy a little crown, but then I would have more clutter. But just imagine from your crown on down, okay? Scroll down and just make sure your body is feeling okay. You feeling okay? You don't have to feel fabulous. But anything from, again, and I think of the car metaphor. If you have a half a tank of gas, it's not full, but you've got a half a tank. We can work with that. But if you are not feeling good, do something to make your physical body feel better. Whatever it is. Empty a tank, full a tank, stretch something. Okay? The second one, which is the most important because this is what is getting many of us stuck in overwhelm, is that all or nothing, the looking at a quantity of whatever that is too big so it shuts you down. So instead of just one room you're picking where you're overwhelmed, you say all of them, and it's probably true, but for what we do is we also then want to quiet down our nervous system to get out of overwhelm by scaling down what we focus on. Going from 100 things that are overwhelming to how about one thing? And then starting with that one thing. Because when you get that one thing done, then that number lowers too because it's only 99 bottles of beer on the wall. Okay? So remember, physical, scan down, nervous system, calm down. Quieting down, breathing down, slowing down. Here's a slowing down one that I wrote down to share with you guys over the weekend. Slowing down your chewing. Being more mindful. Why am I chewing so quickly? Why am I racing through this? Let's slow down. Okay? The revving is spinning wheels and digging deeper, so let's do something else. Let's take the foot off the gas temporarily and just calm the F down. Okay? When your body and your nervous system are feeling better, and again, slowing down, breathing down, slowing down your exhale, shoulders down, feet down on the ground, buttocks down on the seat, hands maybe down in your lap. All of those cascading downs can have a wonderful effect on your human physical body, but also the nerves contained within. And when you're feeling better, what you're doing is you're shifting gears. You're shifting gears from fear and freeze into something else, which is a lot more helpful, which is safety and problem solving. Okay? So, even if you have all of your rooms are decluttered, we're picking one. So we had bedroom, and we saw a couple of basements. Okay, Dee says basement. And the neat thing is, I will share with all of you. Okay, Melanie says cereal hobbies. I collect so many supplies and things. I was like that. I was. Laura Gibbon Voorhees has been making progress slow, but I've been spending sunny days in the gardens. Yeah. So there are certain seasons of your life and certain seasons of the year where it makes more sense to spend your time elsewhere. Okay? We don't do a lot of we do no judging here. Okay? And if we do, I have effed up if I am judging you. What I want to offer is please don't judge yourself. Notice, I had a plan to take a shower and a shave, but my legs. And it was nice and warm outside. I know it's not going to be like that all the time, so I will say no to being down the basement when it's nice outside. Okay? So I will calm down my nervous system. It is okay that I have not paid any attention to the stuff in my basement. And the neat thing is, and you know some of this already, Marietta, when I talk about the basement for some of these new people, any process that I share that I use the word basement as the location, if we were playing Mad Libs, the location of where the clutter is, you can just swap out. You can copy paste, Control V or whatever, and you can just paste bedroom over it, and it's the same process. Okay? So what I want to offer to all of you is to think about how you may be not realizing that you are overwhelming yourself. You don't mean to. Nobody means to make themselves feel bad, but we do it quite often, okay? So I offer to you, okay, so DR says my basement. I clean it, but everything ends there over and over. Yeah, everything else in my house is clean. Now, I want to be, this may be being very overly specific, but I want to share with y'all a concept that decluttering is different from cleaning. Clean means it's dusty and you clean it and it's whatever. Decluttering is deciding. That's a good one. Write that one down. Decluttering is deciding. DR, right? DR? Deciding. And really, it's two decisions. Do I want it or not? And if I want it, where does it go? And then deciding to put it in that place when you're done with it. It really can be that simple. I don't want to overly complicate things. And yes, of course, there are nuances and old nonces too. Nuance, old aunts. I don't know if I'll keep that in my made for comedy special or whatever. Decision making. Do I want it or not is a decision. And then if I want it, now that I've decided I want it, where does it live? Where will it make sense for it to go? The basements tend to be, and everybody who's struggling with basement, please know, all of us, many of us, again, notice I'm backing off of the all because I may not be, there may be a few errant people. Many of us use our basements and our storage areas, closets, drawers, garages, attics, lean-tos, chifforobes. Any place you can store stuff is a potential place for you to avoid making a decision by putting it down the basement and saying, I'll deal with it later. And then she never did deal with it later. Okay? Yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm reading. Okay, so Grains of Sand Co. I have a storage garage. Welcome to the club. Okay, we all fam here. Nobody's hanging out here that is like, I've got all my decluttering shit together. And trust me, if they do, they probably have issues elsewhere. Okay, so welcome to the club. We all fam. Yeah, I've got stuff in my garage. Some of it's mine, some of it's my husband's, some of it's put away, some of it's not. Yeah. And here, Melanie, please, I am not calling you out. I am also calling me out. Right here, I've shown people these boxes for months. See right over here with also the clothing that I want to iron on top of it. Those things have been there for months. Those boxes have been there for months because my basement has been kind of uprooted and messed up because somebody was working on it. I believe he left on Friday and is not coming back. I believe we're done, but I'm a little bit fearful that I could be wrong and he's going to come back. But it's okay. It's okay. There's no judgment here. People who are judging, we don't want them. We're here to help ourselves and help each other, to realize that there's a different way of getting decluttered than you may have learned before from whoever. And it can be easier than before, and it can be funner than before. Okay? Because I like things easy and fun. It's just how I like things. Don't you like things that are easy and fun? Now, speaking of things that are not necessarily difficult and painful, but I want to give a shout out, okay? Marietta is saying, Beth, as a request, and you know, where's my microphone? I take requests. I'm taking requests. As a request for my sister who passed, for women who have not had a mammogram in the past year, get your mammogram, okay? I have mine scheduled. I do, because I also have a friend who passed from breast cancer, and she put off getting her mammogram. I offer this to you as also a way of looking at how you move through the world, because decluttering and getting a mammogram are kind of the same thing. They are something that involves a certain amount of discomfort, temporary discomfort, for a long-term feeling of okayness. But sometimes the specter, the ghost, the fear of the temporary discomfort stops us from even starting that project, and therefore you never get on the other side where it just feels so much better now that you've done it. Okay? So notice this, okay? Notice this, and please, we moved 14 years ago, says Poppy Mom, and I still have boxes that I never opened since we moved. You know what's great about that, Poppy Mom? You know that you don't need those things to live on an everyday basis. So when you open them up, you have lived for 14 years. If you think about it, I have lived for 14 years without having to access anything in those boxes. So how integral are they in my life? How really do I need them if I've been able to survive and hopefully thrive for the past 14 years? Now, that being said, I've got like a little asterisk, okay? Because I'm already heading you off at the pass, all right? 3 layers of potential clutter: surface, stored, which is what you have, and within the stored clutter is sentimental clutter. So it may be sentimental stuff, but still, that's when we get into the really interesting thing of why do you save things for sentimental? You save them to remember people, but how is that thing helping you remember the person if it's been in a box for 14 years? Okay? Now, I don't say this as judgment or to feel shamed about it, but notice, yeah, I have lived without that thing for 14 years. I bet I can live for another 14 years without it. So, Poppy Mom, I say to you, or Pommy Mom, excuse me. I've got dyslexia. It could be easier than ever before. Maybe today, maybe October of 2025 is the exact right time, is a wonderful time for you to go through that stuff, because you have nervous system safety, because you have experiencing not living with that stuff for 14 years. And how great will it be when it's also not just cluttering up the back of your mind? Oh, I should go through those boxes. I should go through those boxes. Okay. Tide and Timber says, oh, how didn't I find you earlier? Well, a couple of things. Practically, it's because I show up for an hour a day many times to do a TikTok live, and it's often followed by a YouTube live. I've been doing it for years. We just haven't crossed paths. Now, I have a schedule of when I do my TikTok lives and YouTube lives. If you want to just not happen to run into me, but you want to like do a meet cute and you know where I'm going to be, I share that schedule, but I don't share it with everybody. I only share it with people who have said I'm interested, and that's how you show you're interested, is by joining the email club. And it's totally low-key. It is. I do not spam you. I don't sell you stuff. I hate that shit. But if you want to know when my schedule is, and I'll give you the schedule right now, actually, in the fact that this week, you've got me today and you've got me tomorrow, and then I'm gone for a week. Because I travel a lot, okay? So Tide and Timber, here's a phrase I like to use, and this is a recurring theme for today, so I'll just offer it to you. I choose to believe, I start a lot of sentences that way, I choose to believe that now is a good time for me to start this. Now is just the right time for me to do this. This is just the right time. Instead of regretting that you wished we met sooner, we're meeting now. Let's make the most of our time together. Okay? So, notice the judgment, notice the overwhelm, notice the fear. We do this. Okay? Yeah. So, Tide and Timber, I'm not a clutter lover. I grew up in chaos of things, so that may be why you're not a clutter lover. Now, I grew up in the chaos of things, and I created my own chaos of things. And I also married a man who grew up with the chaos of things and still likes it too. What I just want to offer to you is that you can change, but also notice that when other people have issues with clutter and stuff, that they also have a journey through the world that involves clutter and stuff that may be different from yours, okay? But back to the people who are cluttered in their basement, okay? Do not overwhelm yourself with how long you've had this stuff. I've had it for 14 years. How much stuff? I have 87,000 boxes down here. Do not overwhelm yourself with overwhelming numbers. Numbers can overwhelm you. Oh my God, I'm almost 60. Holy Moses, I have fewer years ahead of me than I do behind me because I'm not going to be living to 118. You can easily overwhelm yourself with just the thought of a number. This is going to take forever for me to declutter. Well, that's a thought that makes you feel like I don't want to spend my forever decluttering. Notice how you may be inadvertently overwhelming yourself before you even start. You're making yourself feel heavy and weighed down that you don't even want to start. Okay? I get it. None of us, it took me so long to realize the voices in my head. The words in my head caused me to feel a feeling. The feeling of overwhelm and discouraged caused me to then not get moving and take action in any direction, never mind the direction of my destination and my dreams. So if it happened to me, it's going to happen. I'm thinking it happens to other people. Nothing special about me. Alrighty? Okay, so I'll offer this. So everybody in the basements, notice where you're inadvertently overwhelming yourself with how long you have had the stuff, how many items you have there, and the fact that it tends to be, I will share this with you, many of us store things because we struggle with making a decision about something, and then we put it in storage, so then after a while, it becomes extra super concentrated version of everything down the basement is a decision I didn't make when it was not in the basement. So now it's really concentrated, and that concentration, that percentage of decisions feels overwhelming too. So don't overwhelm yourself. Calming down, quieting down. Yes. And this is a great thing. Laura Gibbon Voorhees and Brenda, you're new here. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called here on TikTok and on YouTube and on the internet. Destination Decluttered. I should probably have a sign, but I don't. DestinationDecluttered.com is my website. Okay. So I'm here for the next half hour. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern where I am. It may be a different time for you, but all of us, I will be here for another half hour. You do you. You can hang out here if you want. No big deal. So there was something too. I want to talk about the basement for a second, then user 2816. I want to get to what you said, and I'll repeat it. Don't worry. So Laura knows of which she speaks. The basement is a long-term job, but I'm glad at least the upstairs is feeling better. It encourages. So notice a couple of things about what she wrote. This is one of the reasons where when I show you the steps to declutter and I tell them to you in a certain order, I kind of know what I'm talking about, okay? And I say this because we always start with the surface clutter so that you have a clean and clear area to feel good about that you created. Now, as I mentioned, stuff in the basement is stuff that maybe for decades you have ignored and put away and said, I'll deal with it later. So it may be a longer job because it's a lot more decisions than just the easy stuff on the surface. But notice the interplay between the deep stuff, the stuff down the basement, and the surface clutter in the kitchen or wherever. When she's upstairs, it's feeling better here, and living in an area that feels better gives you courage. It encourages. It encourages, you know? Yeah. So notice this, okay? Notice that you can overwhelm yourself with a thought of a number. I've got 87,000 things here. You can also unoverwhelm, calm yourself down by saying, I may have 87,000, but I'm only going to deal with one today. Okay? Yeah. So notice this, encouraging, chunking it down, quieting down your nervous system, chunking it down, using different words to get a different feeling in your body. Those different words and different feelings will encourage you. But if you don't ever kind of flip over to the other side and you talk to yourself in a not so helpful way, it's going to be so much more difficult. Now, notice this, Laura Gibbon Voorhees brings up, sometimes some of the stuff, the basement difficulty is this, that stuff belongs to other people. Notice that. Who is the owner of the stuff? Smitten Kitten says, I gave my kids, other people, 30 days to claim before donations. All claimed some, and then you were able to donate the rest. So I offer this to you also as a decluttering tip. Notice the stuff that's yours. Notice the stuff that's somebody else's. And I highly recommend working on your own stuff first. When you know how to deal with your own stuff, you will have a better perspective on why some other people you know may not be dealing with their own clutter, because you have not been dealing with your clutter too. So instead of doing a do as I say, not as I do type of thing, nobody likes that person. You can lead by example. You can learn from me and then teach what you learned from me to them. Okay? But notice that's a category, and notice what we're doing. We use the word down here a lot. Notice I said from the crown on down to make sure your physical body is feeling okay. Then you calm down your nervous system. So you get out of fear and freeze, and you get more into love and flexibility, whatever the opposite, freeze, flexibility, fear, love, opposites. The other one is going to be chunking it down. And when I say chunking it down, I mean looking at all of it, but then starting with one chunk. And ideally, one of the easy ways to declutter and get started is to categorize it. Categories. These are my things. These are hubby's things. This is child A's. This is grandma's stuff. Putting it into different categories is a wonderful way of not dealing with it all as a barrage in the garage, but to deal with some of it. And dealing with some is always going to be the way to get started, because you can't deal with it all at the same time. Okay? Radhika, early in the Hawaii. I love it. Now, Marietta says, I have gift clutter. Notice, that's a category. Because, oops, now it went, hold on. I buy everyone while traveling, but it didn't use it all. So time to make Christmas baskets. So notice where your participation, and all of us here, I don't want to use the word guilt. All of us here have participated in the cluttering of our own homes. We are not guilt-free and everybody else is guilty. We did it. I bought a lot of stuff for other people and I didn't give it to them yet. Okay, but you can change that. Yeah, okay. So Ashley, notice this. You're not alone when you say getting overwhelmed. What I want to offer to everybody here, overwhelm is a feeling. So instead of getting overwhelmed, even substitute, I am feeling the feeling of overwhelm. I'm not overwhelmed. I am feeling a temporary feeling of overwhelm. Oh, because I have so much stuff in my house. When you know it's a feeling, you can change that feeling. Okay? You can change that feeling. Calming down your nervous system. Okay. I can't drive that entire road trip of miles at once, but I can get started. Okay. Now, Belle, no garage and a small house. Is it a good or bad idea to rent a storage unit to categorize first? Honestly, I have seen if you use a storage spaces that you pay for. How do I want to say this? If you need to store things temporarily, they should be a place where you are. I don't recommend, frankly, I will say this. I do not recommend renting a storage unit to categorize. How big is the stuff? Like, notice the amount. You think I have to categorize all of it. No. Do you have a kitchen table? Do you have a space of like as wide as your range of vision? Okay, you put your arms out here and you've got an even narrower cone of vision, right? Where you can see what's, you know what I mean? You've got what you can focus on. And even as I do this, if I keep focusing, I can see that it's not what I can focus on. It's in my periphery. Whoa, excuse me. That'd be awful if I fell and you guys would have to call 911 to get me fixed or whatever. Okay, yeah, so what I offer to you is this. Everybody, you don't need a lot of space to do this. You literally, I've got you need like a square foot area in front of you to put an item in, ask if you want it, make the decision then. So no, do not. The only time, and see, this is a thing that bugs me. I hate seeing people making money off of fear. I am here. I mean, I get paid to help people. I do one-on-one coaching. That's how I make my money. I really hate it when I walk around and I see so many of these storage units popping up and people are spending thousands of dollars a year because they're afraid of making a decision. I call bullshit on that, and I feel really bad for everybody who has a storage space there. Now, I used to pay for a storage space, but it was because I was temporarily renting a room in a house with people because my job moved and my stuff did not fit there. But it was stuff I had decided to keep, and it was temporary. So there are times when places like that can be useful. I don't recommend it for decluttering. I don't. You could if a nice weather, so now I can set it up outside. Yeah. Seriously, make it be in a nice place where you don't mind being. Okay? But look, I just saved you thousands of dollars. You're welcome. Creating a space. And again, notice that anything you really, and I know this because I wear glasses, anything outside of my glasses vision is in the periphery. Focusing on what you can focus on is really about a 1 square foot. Okay? Yeah. And so that's what you can do. Sorry, I'm just looking here for a sec here. Somebody was asking if I do these TikToks every day. I do, except for when I don't. What I mean by that is I travel. That's my thing. Life coaching me. Okay, yeah, how can I send you money for your advice? You don't need to, silly. No, that's not why I do this. You know how you can really pay me back for the advice? Is seriously put it into practice. Okay, Belle? So do this instead, because it would help you and it would help me. Do this and start to declutter. And then when you feel good about it, tell me and share that with other people. You know? This is why I do it. I get paid by my one-on-one clients. And right now, I'm not even accepting any more one-on-one clients because I have a nicely full schedule. But please, I mean, it's nothing more, I don't know if I want to say disappointing, heartbreaking, whatever, is offering something that you know is going to help somebody. And they say, oh, yeah, sure. And then they don't use it. So just use the advice to help your life make better. And that would be 2 people's lives who are better on the world. That's all the payment I need. Okay? So I do a TikTok live and a YouTube live pretty much every day, Monday through Friday, except for when I travel. Because I life coached myself and I realized at this season of my life how important it is for me to have a flexible schedule because I didn't have one for many years. And the reason I say this is because just so everybody knows, first of all, if you want to be in the loop, okay, if you want to be in the loop and just know when I show up again, to keep you company maybe while you are decluttering, or learn more things. It's kind of the same thing over and over again, but don't dismiss the power of that, okay? I have what I call my email club. Basically, or actually, yeah, it's a pen pal club. No, it's an email group. I'm trying to keep my words straight. If you want to know, if you want to be shared the calendar of when I show up live, go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com, and scroll down to the bottom where you see a place that says add your name to the email group. You do that, you hit join, you're in, you get an automatic email. In that email is a link to a secret page on the internet that has the schedule. I'm looking at it right now, okay? And this is cool too. Dorothy Orange is saying, and this is important too, I will listen to your YouTube today while I clean my closet. I'm happy to keep you company while you're doing it. Nothing more boring than doing something you don't want to do and feeling like you're alone when you're doing it. So much better to have company. So yeah, so I'm here on TikTok for another 18 minutes or so, and then I shift over to Destination Decluttered on YouTube, and I show up for another hour of pretty much the exact same thing, but I'm helping people practice switching channels in case TikTok goes bye-bye. Okay? Oh, there we go. Radhika says, I shared your site with a friend of mine who is a hoarder. I am sure she will use the advice. I hope so. I hope so. That's all I can ever do, is hope that somebody hears something that could change their life and they actually kind of take it to heart and they use it. So the schedule, I'll just give you a heads up though. The schedule for this week is short, today and tomorrow, because tomorrow's already Wednesday. And then I'm off the digital grid. That's what I call it. I am on the grid in real life because there's no way I'm going camping. I'm off the digital grid from the 9th to the 17th, but Saturday, October 18th, we've got a declutter party, okay? What's a declutter party? It's a bit more like, it's not on TikTok or YouTube. It is a private group of people who show up and you buy a ticket and we're on Zoom and you declutter together. Yay, Dorothy Orange, I love it. Thank you for spreading the word. That's all I need. That would be, because you know what? Everybody here just happened upon me or knew to tune in on TikTok. The reason I show up like this here is to reach out to let people who struggle with clutter know that there is help out there. And so that really helps. So you're helping with the reason I'm here, okay? And this isn't just decluttering and making sure your stuff is all folded and color-coded. I mean, all that stuff looks good. And I like when things look good. Like, I get joy from that. However, this is also life coaching in the fact that you deciding what you want in your life and keeping it. And also when you decide you don't want stuff in your life and letting it go, that's not just about the items in your home or your basement or your storage unit. It's about the quality of life you want inside your house and outside of it. Okay? So again, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching here on TikTok is called Destination Decluttered. My coaching on YouTube is called Destination Decluttered. And my website is called Destination Decluttered, because I like to talk about travel and road tripping because I do all of it all the time. There was something else I was going to tell you. I can't remember what it was. All right. Radhika is saying, I am 63 and downsizing. I am 59 and downsizing. Yeah, my era of accumulating items is over. It's not that I don't buy anything ever, but man, have I decreased the amount of stuff that I collect by double-digit percentages. Okay? So I am going through it along with you. And I was talking with one of my one-on-one clients this morning, and I think that this is the season for me as a woman in the pose, somewhere in the menopause, road trip. The things I used to care about more in my previous eras, my previous decades, I don't care about so much anymore. The good news is that a lot of the things that I wanted, and I really wanted, and I still want right now, I have. But I don't feel the desire to fill my house, my life with things that I just don't need and that I'll have to get rid of someday. Now, I know not everybody in this stage of life is like that. There are plenty of people who have said, I'm going to retire and I'm going to go out shopping and I'm going to buy all the stuff and I'm going to buy another house and fill that stuff up. You do you. I'm not going to judge anybody like that. No, but that's not me. And I know myself that having too much can feel not that good. Having just the right amount of many things feels better than having too much. Yeah. Belle, my birthday is in August, so I have plenty of time. Plenty of time to hang out in my 50s, okay? Now, user 9816, how do I get my spouse to let go of stuff? We are 70. This is what I always like to say. You hang out with yourself 24/7, 365. You have front row seats to the thoughts in your head, the feelings, the stories, the actions, and how easy is it for you to change yourself? I'm assuming your answer would be like my answer, which is not that easy. So I offer to you, if you are the person who has direct line to all the things that make you tick, and you still have a struggle with changing yourself, imagine what it would be like for you to try to change somebody else when you don't know half of what's going on in their head and heart, and maybe they don't either. Okay? So I offer that to you. You can't make anybody else do something they don't want to do, because you know it yourself when somebody's tried to change you. And sometimes when we think we are trying to do it, we have the opposite effect. People dig their heels in. That's a phrase I learned in my family. You tell me to do something, next thing you know, I'm like a donkey going, no way. I don't want to go that way just because you said I want to. But what I offer to you is, I don't want to be like, I can't change somebody else. What you can do is you can get curious about why they are keeping stuff and not judgmental. You can be slow and steady and loving, but also you, user 9816, can show a different way of dealing with your stuff, so that you can also say, well, this is what I'm doing with mine. And you can show them, you can lead by example of another way of thinking about your stuff, feeling about your stuff, and doing something with your stuff with your hands, your head, your heart, and your hands. Okay? So that's the cool thing. You're here with me and I'm here with you, and you can learn from me, and you can do something different. And do not underestimate the power of a positive role model, of somebody who's doing something different and they're getting the results they want and they can find their stuff, all that good stuff, okay? But I say, don't start with the other person, start with you. And that may be unfamiliar to many of us because of the way that we were raised to not think about ourselves, we were raised to look at other people, and we're maybe out of touch with what's going on here, okay? Now, so Teresa says, I'm getting to the let all go stage. Mad, I have so much stupid stuff and clutter. I get you. Trust me, Teresa, but here, let me just offer you a similar take on the situation that you've described in just a limited amount of words, okay? And notice the difference in the words you use. First of all, notice that you're thinking. The way you are thinking now is causing you to feel the feeling of mad and mad at yourself. I have so much stupid stuff. This stuff is stupid. I'm mad at myself. How does that make you feel? It just makes me feel crappy. When I feel mad at myself, it just makes me feel crappy. So don't beat yourself up. Stupid stuff. I can't believe I bought that. What are you doing? All the money you wasted, you don't even use it. That just makes you feel like shit. Do not make yourself feel shitty. Stop it. This is my traffic cop hand. Stop it and start doing something else. Okay? Mark and Jennifer, I'll get to you in a sec, I promise, okay? Stop being mean to yourself. Start being nice to yourself. Instead of beating yourself up about stupid stuff, you were doing the best you could with the skills you had when you bought those things, when you got those things, when you agreed to get those things. Regardless of what happened in the past, beating yourself up won't change that. But what will change your today and your future is by learning from what you did in the past and seeing how it played out. Okay? There we go. Dragons Girl, nice to see you. Haven't been at my feed forever. Great to see you. See, this is why, you guys, when you're only relying on the algorithm to have me pop up in your life, I show up at specific scheduled times. So it can be fun to, hey, Laura Gibbon Voorhees showed up on my FYP the other day. I'm like, friend, we don't even follow each other. This is fun to say hi. But if you want to know when I'm showing up, all you need to do is join the email group. The email group gets the little secret key to the secret thing and the secret schedule, and then you're in the know. Yeah. Now, to get back to a couple of things, Laura Gibbon Voorhees is talking about inspiring other people. True, husband has followed my lead, and I use what I've learned from Beth for us to declutter wisely. Wisely. Using your head and your heart before you ever move anything with your hands. If you consult these two things before you do anything, you will decrease by a double-digit percentage the regret you would have when you let something go. Okay? So notice that. You can learn, you can change. Now, Mark and Jennifer, surface, stored is the middle. Surface is on the surface. It's like, the stuff on my desk here or the stuff on my floor, the stuff on any horizontal surface that's there, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be somewhere else and it's just not there yet. That is surface clutter. Stored clutter, and this may help you remember this one, everybody. Stored, at least the way I pronounce it, with my random Boston-inspired accent, is stored, think of doors and drawers. Okay, not draws, like Mrs. Tanetta. But stored equals stuff behind doors and in drawers. So the door to your basement is stored clutter. The door to a closet, the closet may be filled. The door to a cabinet may have stored clutter. Now, stored clutter can be a combo. It can be just surface stuff, there's food, there's dishes, there's mixing bowls, there's clothes, or it can be true sentimental. Sentimental is the third and deepest layer of clutter. And sentimental is the stuff you save not because of what it is, but because of the story you have. And I realize this is probably, here's a fun thing. That's probably backwards for you guys. Can you guys read that? So here, I can do it this way. Maybe you read it back. My story about this thing. You have attached a story to an item, and that's why you're keeping the item. This is a sentimental item. Okay? But much like that just detached, you can also separate the story from the item. And when you do that, you have two things. You can be like, okay, if I can keep the story, maybe I can let go of the item. Where's someplace else I can keep the story? And look where I put that. Where my heart is. This is where you keep your stories. Up here and in here. And so you don't necessarily need the thing to keep the story. You can also write down the story. You can take pictures. There's all sorts of things you can do. But that's sentimental. So again, from the shallow end of the pool to the deep end of the pool. Surface clutter. Stored clutter, which is kind of in the middle, and then sentimental clutter, which is the deepest. I offer that to you too also, because please do not start. If you don't know how to swim, don't jump into the deep end of the pool first. Let's walk over to the shallow end, learn how to do it, practice, get better, get out more, stretch your comfort zone. You can go over to the, when you know how to swim better, it'll be easier, okay? Alrighty. Now, Teresa is saying, when I'm not at home, I make declutter lists, of course, because okay, this is good. Then when I get to do it, I lose momentum big time. Notice the stories that pop up, ping, when you're in your house. It's probably many things yelling at you all at once when you're home. When you're away from it, you don't hear those things. You just see, clean off the table, do the dishes, pay that bill. But when you get home, there's a lot more stories going on in your head that cause you to deflate like a balloon. Woo. I highly encourage you to tune in, to fine-tune the radio station and listen to the story that got you not moving, that poked a hole in your balloon of momentum that got the momentum to leak out. It's probably words in your head. You guys, this is a simple recipe, formula, words in your head plus feelings in your heart equals what you do, equals the action you take or don't take. This plus this equals this. Head plus heart equals what you do with your hands. You either go and move them around and do the stuff, or you go scroll on TikTok. Okay? Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah. Now, Darby Media is saying, where do I find the email newsletter? First of all, just to be clear, because I freaking hate writing. I hate writing. I just do not care for writing. I'm more of a speaker than a writer. I'm a lover, not a fighter. There is no newsletter, but what it is you getting first dibs on all the cool stuff I offer. So that is at Darby Media. That is at my website, destinationdecluttered.com. You scroll down to the bottom of the homepage. You'll see a form that says join the email group. You put your email address in there. You hit join. What should happen then is you get an automatic email that has a link to what I call the secret page, because I feel like I'm on Pee-wee's Playhouse. The secret page, and that's where the TV guide, when I'm going to be around, is on. That's also when you can get tickets to the declutter parties. What else do we have here? Declutter parties are live. There's 3 dates for those. You can get info and tickets. You could schedule your one-on-one coaching consultation, but I don't have any available, so don't worry about that. You can download and print your Pavers and Potholes monthly habit tracker. You can listen to the Destination Decluttered tunes on playlist on Spotify, and then you can check to see when I'm going to sign up next or show up next. Also, a reminder, here's a fun thing, because in about 2 minutes, I'm going to be stopping this TikTok live, and I may be not on TikTok for very much longer. I don't know. But also, if you like what you're hearing, I do lives exactly like this, except on a different station, because I'm a TV kid. And that's at on Destination Decluttered on YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to show up there. I'm literally getting it set up right now. So if you like what you're hearing, again, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and Melly, notice, we can laugh about it. I can laugh about it now, but at the time it was terrible, right? Everything, everyone, where, all at once. Yeah, does that feel overwhelming? There we go. Alrighty, good stuff. Good stuff, everybody. Okay. Yeah, and seriously, never regret what you did in the moment, especially if it brought you joy. But notice the quality of the joy. Was it short-term joy? There's nothing wrong with that. Or is it a more long-term joy as well? Because both things are pretty awesome. Oh. Okay, this is perfect timing, okay? Because seriously, I got to shut the windows because somebody's starting to mow the lawn and I won't be able to concentrate on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. Okay, so that's where I'm showing up tomorrow. I have one more TikTok live tomorrow and a YouTube live tomorrow. And then I'm going to be off the grid for like a week. So here we go. It was cool to hang out with you. I got to go shut the windows, and I want to see, I will get the, I'm going to get, here, I'll do this. Whoa. I will get the YouTube started right now, so you guys will have a place to land, even if I'm just shutting the windows. Retake the thumbnail. Ooh, there's the thumbnail. Okay, there I am. I'm going to start the live on YouTube. So the live is started on YouTube. Okay, Destination Decluttered on YouTube. If you want to hang out some more, that's where I'll be. It does say I'm live. And I'm just going to go shut the window so I can hear myself think. And it was wonderful to hang out with you all. And I'll see you later. Bye. Bye. Boop. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Hit it.